That was a bad opening to my live. My hair wasn't ready. I have to redo it. Okay. We'll get in there a little while. Show you my room. My room's really small. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a college dorm. Okay. What am I doing? I know what I'm doing. I'm going live, but that's right. I was gonna get an energy drink real quick. So I'm mid project. I'm sort of taking a break. I was recording all day. Finished up the intro track on Dark Country. It's going to be it is an instrumental. So I finished that up today. Had to listen to it in my truck speakers and change some stuff, and kind of did a lot on it today actually. And I have to just do a few more things on that track, and then I'm starting to record the final song. It's not the last song on the album, but it's the last song I have to record to make it 9 songs completely. I'm definitely not a fan of man buns, but just it's getting late, and I put my hair up. So it's been sort of years in the making, this album. Because some of these songs that are on the album were actually recorded in person with my buddy in Portland 4 years ago, one of them even 5 years ago. Turn down the TV. But I'm not saying I've been working on this album for 5 years. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's some tracks that are on this album that were recorded years ago. So it's sort of involuntarily, it's been this sort of, process. It's like a gathering up of, songs written 5 years ago. One of the songs on the album Orange Night, which is actually already out, it's on Spotify. Probably maybe even my favorite song on the album, as far as, from the musician and recording standpoint. Anyways, I wrote that song when I was 19. And it's kind of evolved a little bit over the years, but it's been that song for, over a decade. And so this album's kind of, it's meaningful to me because it's in a way, my life's work. So yeah. I've been talking to my drummer a lot lately, and we've just, we've always kept in touch, over the years, but, we're adults. Sometimes we talk maybe once a year, if that. And just lately, we're on a group chat, and we've all been kind of talking, kind of regularly, and he's been sending me, pictures and old videos and stuff. Like, oh, dude, you remember we played the show? And it's just been really refreshing. It's like, seeing pictures and videos when I was 22 years old, 21 years old. Just a really good time. Um, all the time. I mean, we were having a blast. So gonna kind of make this short live. Phone slipped around, can't see any comments. What's up? So yeah, I've been obviously came out with an album last year, early 2025, physical copies. It's a 10-song album. And then I released like some EPs and some singles. So, dropped a lot of music last year. I feel it again. I feel like playing music. I've definitely been feeling like writing and recording music. And I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to feel like I'm playing live again. So this is the last song I need to do to complete my 9-song album, which is called Dark Country. It was going to be an EP. It was going to be a 4 or 5 song EP, but I was, the vibe, the theme of the album, I was just like, I could put this song on there. I could put that song on there. It's in theme, and I really took my time thinking about what order I want the songs to be placed in. Because this album is sort of old school in the sense where bands back in the day, in the 70s and 80s, in the 60s, they would write albums, and they're sort of meant to be listened to all the way through, from the first to the last song. Simon and Garfunkel, Pink Floyd, so on and so forth. Led Zeppelin. So it's Dark Country is definitely, I think, gonna be like that. It's like a book. You wouldn't just read 1 or 2 chapters or just go to the 7th chapter. You read the whole thing. And this album, it's cinematic. It's got this sort of intensity in the sense that it takes you somewhere, even though it's really chill and kind of dark and like, slow paced. It still is, it's kind of a daydreaming type of album where you could just, like today I listened to the first 3 songs, 1, 2, 3 in a row, and they really blend well, going into each other. So anyways, it's 10 o'clock. There's no way I'm going to even come close to finishing this song tonight, but I am, going to start it. I wrote the chord progression down, the lyrics down. And then here I have, the 9 songs in order of Dark Country. So a lot of the writing process. This last song, No Other Way, it's it's a 2-chord song. I love 3-chord songs. I think they're brilliant. 3, 4-chord songs, I think they're brilliant. This song actually is a 2-chord song. There is some parts in the song where it hits a 3rd chord. There's a chord progression where it does go to 3 chords. But mostly it's a 2-chord song. I've been putting on this Versace to record. It goes with the vibe of the album. It's Eros Flame Versace. It's usually, you see the blue, the famous blue Versace, but I've been really liking the red one. It's a great nighttime men's fragrance. It's good for the evening. It's subtle. It's sort of, thick. So has this thick smell. It's deep, it has like this deep sort of fire, kind of cinnamony type. It just makes me, like, gets me in the vibe. To record. So when I was growing up and I started with bands and writing music, I had a lot of older friends. I was the 17-year-old hanging out with people that were 33, 30 years old, going to bars, getting invited into bars, not even being 21 yet. I was playing in bands. I was hanging out with songwriters that were in their 30s, in their 20s, and I was a teenager. And they taught me a lot. Orange County, there's a lot of musicians, obviously Southern California. And Orange County had, a lot of like the kind of punk rock, ska, alternative, music, all those bands like No Doubt, all that stuff. So Sublime, the kind of ska punk, and then obviously, grunge was really big in the Northwest, in Seattle, Portland. So that was not really my jam. I could respect it, Nirvana, Mudhoney, and all that stuff. I mean, we didn't dislike it, but it wasn't, I was more into like punk rock, post-punk, 80s stuff. And but also I was really into bands like, like hipster music, like The Strokes, bands like that. And British mod music, like The Who, and I was, we were really into that. That's kind of obviously where all the new stuff came from, was that stuff, that genre. I'm not going to go into a 20-minute spiel on what I think about genres and how I explain genres. Seems like I do that like every other live. Genres being a direct reflection or response of whatever's going on in society at that time. A genre is a direct reflection or response of whatever's going on in society at that time. It's kind of a tongue twister. You can quote me on that. In the 80s, real quick, so you had new wave, technology was rapidly advancing, so music was a reflection of that. It started sounding more digital. There was more synth sounds. It was sounding more futuristic, if you will. It wasn't like so like raw blues guitar kind of, Eastern, sounding like it was in the 60s and 70s. It was, and then, the counterculture would be a response. Everything was so cookie cutter, WASP America. So they, got into Indian music, Eastern music, so on and so forth. So that would be an example of a response, like punk rock, reggae, a response to society. So genres are sort of, like I said, reflections or responses to whatever's going on in society at that time. The songwriters are reflecting the frequencies and whatever, what they're experiencing. I was talking about how there's just so much music on Spotify, and a lot of times, I don't know how to say, but like Midwest kind of, I don't even know how to explain that kind of music words. Anyways, you could tell sometimes when, songwriters are not from, major cities. It just, you could hear it. It's kind of like more like joke music. It's very like, it's very spacious in the creativity. Like they're almost just like sitting around in, somebody's house that they just grew up in. Everybody knows each other. It's like a nice community, and the songwriting kind of comes out like very kind of like sometimes joke sounding or carefree or just, I don't know, versus, when you growing up in a heavily populated neighborhood, I feel like the music comes out differently. So, yeah, I was gonna say like Midwest, like emo kind of stuff. Um, so anyways, I grew up with a lot of, a lot of people that were already in bands for 15 years, already putting out albums. One of my, buddies I hung out with a whole lot, I would even say it's probably like one of my best friends when I was 19 years old and 20 years old was Mike Colton. He was original member to Save Ferris, and he wrote the song that's in 10 Things I Hate About You, that movie. So he taught me a lot about like writing music. Like he was a huge fan of songs that were 3-chord songs, and and then I learned a lot from Robert Goodwin. Um, he was in Head Noise. He taught me some cool stuff about writing music, and then just a lot of other older musician friends that even some people that weren't even really musicians, or they were trying to be musicians, or they wanted to be musicians, but they still had a good ear for music, and they'd be like, oh, like, notice this band does this and this band does. So I had a lot of influences, musical influences, and obviously my stepdad, who actually taught me how to play guitar. Not really about how to write music, I learned that later, but just the process. There's 3 or 4 things there's a way I write a song, and I'm not just gonna tell everybody my process and how I write music, but there's specifically like 4 things really that I do, how I write a song, and it works for me anyways. There's always people that they're like, I can't have an energy drink at 10 o'clock at night. It's like, why not, man? They're like, I'll be up till 5 o'clock. I could freaking pound an energy drink and go to sleep 10 minutes later easily. I don't even know if these things really give me energy. More so is sometimes if I don't drink them, I get a headache, and I just think they taste good. To me, they're just like good tasting sodas. But I mean, it does have B12, B6. Some of these, if the caffeine is high enough, I think it'll give anybody energy. The 300 milligrams, but I don't think this is 300 milligrams. This is maybe 175. Doesn't even say. It's got potassium in it. That's good. Sugar free. So, I've been writing music for a long time. I was, publishing music when I was 15 years old, and my first band, The Discarded. And there's another band called The Discarded, and they came out maybe, I don't know, 8 or 10 years after we were around. But I think it's a father-son band, but they've come out with, so many albums and so much material over the years that, I mean, if you look up The Discarded on YouTube or something, it'll be probably mostly their band. But we do have stuff, on Bandcamp, and we have stuff on YouTube. We have albums up. They're up. I think my singer, I think he tried to take everything down because I don't, so we don't, play Christian music anymore. I don't know if he was embarrassed or what, but, or if he didn't like, I don't know, what he was thinking, but I think he tried to take, most everything down. But we had so many fans, this was before social platforms. So, to get notoriety, you had to do it the old fashioned way. You had to walk around, pass out flyers. You had to play concerts nonstop. And we did. We played concerts, sometimes 2, 3 concerts a week, for years. And we played enough shows where we headlined the showcase in Corona, and there would be 600 people there to see us, So, I mean, that, I know that's not like super big. I'm not saying it's stardom, but it was, we would be able to headline, small venues. So anyways, I mean, we had enough fans out there that I think people are putting up our music basically. We would sell CDs obviously at concerts and shirts. So I think people have uploaded stuff even on Instagram. And there's no profile picture or anything. It's just the song. So it's most likely, one of our fans. But yeah, obviously everything's, copyrighted. And Justin, from Random Land, he's a content creator now. Him and I wrote 95% of all the Discarded. We came out with full length albums. And every now and then there would be one of the original members. I was the only original member in the Discarded, by the way. All the members switched around. The main lineup was Justin, Matt, and Aisha, and myself. That was the longest running lineup for the Discarded and the most popular lineup for the Discarded. And I was, the only original member. But anyway, so some of the songs on the albums there would be co-written by previous members. And we were all friends, and it was a Christian band. So a lot of times in Christian bands in the music scene, people would jump around and join different bands. And like our drummer, Casey, who's in a band now, Carrion Empire in Portland. I don't know. They're like dark wave, synth, goth, punk or something. I don't know. Anyways, they're not a Christian band at all. But he moved up. He moved up and started playing drums for Head Noise. And Head Noise was probably one of the biggest Christian punk rock bands in Southern California. Absolutely. So them and Officer Negative. So anyways, he left the Discarded because he got invited to be in a band that was like 10 times bigger than our band. And we opened up for Head Noise for a long time. So the Discarded was like kind of like the baby band in the scene, but we were on all the shows. We would just usually be opening up for at least the first few years until we eventually started headlining. It was like a hierarchy. It mirrored the Protestant church. Like the Christian alternative music scene is a lot like the Protestant church. Like you have to pay your dues and climb your fucking way up. Okay, so anyways, this was before social platforms, so we got as big as you could possibly get as teenagers playing little shows. Where was I going with that? Sorry. It always turns into a music testimony with me, I swear. As long as I don't get into, conspiracy stuff, I think we're good. Okay, so this album, Dark Country, I mean, just having one more song to do, I'm like feeling relief or something, like, only one more to do. It's right there. So I took pictures for my album tonight. I think they're very vibey. I think they definitely fit the vibe of the album. So, I'm 40 years old, so it gets, I don't know, it gets more difficult just to play shows when you're 40, especially when I'm not, wealthy and stuff. If I had a bunch of money, I could play shows all the time. But it was so much easier to play when you're 21 years old. It's just, I don't know how. It's just, maybe it's just, maybe it's, maybe it's not easier. I just, fucking A, man. So, anyways, my buddy Casey, original member of the Discarded, he's in Portland. He's, I think he's 43 or something. He was like 3 years older than me when we were teenagers. But, I mean, he looks great. He takes care of himself, he has a thick set of hair. I mean, he works out. I mean, he looks probably, as good as, probably the best you could look at 43. Anyways, he's recording. He's been in the studio with his band the last 3 or 4 days. I like, some of their songs are pretty good. It's very, very abstract, his music. You know what I mean? It's just very, it's just, very sound. I mean, he sings. There's songs where but it's definitely not pop music where it's verse, chorus. And which is cool. I mean, a lot of stuff on Dark Country is actually, kind of very abstract and very vibey, cinematic sort of music. Songs like The Cave. It's not like structured like a pop song. It's just one, just endless vibe, basically, from start to finish. More or less an instrumental. But yeah, The Cave is going to be on Dark Country. The Cave is maybe probably my favorite thing I've ever recorded in my entire life. And I recorded that in Portland with my buddy Daniel. He did so great. And I mean, not only do I really, really like that song, like everything about that song from every little part, but we had so much fun recording it. It was an all-nighter. I mean, we were having, it was extra curriculum, all night long. We were having so much fun. We stayed up, until the sun came up, and God, we didn't really put that song together for like at least like 4 years after we recorded it. So we laid down the guitar tracks, we laid down everything, and then originally there was way more. There was a lot more on that song, and he really like stripped it down to its bones and just made it good, which is great, because I mean that song got out of control. But yeah, I had a lot of fun recording that song. That was a great night. I haven't, when we recorded that in Portland, it's been a while since I did that, like just hang out with a buddy and record music all night and stuff. And we did Truth and Love. Truth and Love is on Spotify. It's just an instrumental version of Truth and Love. Eventually I'll do, a radio edit with singing and the actual vocals that I wrote for it. But there is, the guitar version, Truth and Love, is on Spotify. That came out really good too. That's gonna be really, that's the song, there's lyrics, full on lyrics to that song. I really like that one. So playing music, I feel like, especially when you're not, 20 years old, you really have to have a passion for it, because it's not really about just, how many views can you get. Everything is so social platforms now. um, I mean, the Discarded, we did have a MySpace. We had a MySpace, and there was a lot of people on our MySpace. And I had my own fan section and everything. Anyways, it's just, I mean, social platforms is so, it's almost everything. It's all the marketing. Everything comes from social platforms. It's just, I remember I was working at the Grove. This was before I moved into Portland. I was I was a stagehand at the Grove and was working shows, Styx, King Diamond, Chris Isaac, a lot of awesome acts, and got to meet everybody and set up all their gear, and it's just really cool. Anyways, it's just, I remember, a lot of bands, they would go on stage and they would, go live on Instagram or YouTube, usually Instagram, and they would go live, and, they're like, oh, look at the audience. And it just, to me, that was just so weird. Just, we didn't, do that. Well, you couldn't, there was no way to do that when I was playing a lot of concerts. Even in Hold Me Like a Gun, when I was 21 years old and 22 years old, we had cell phones. But back then, and people would take maybe one picture with their cell phone. But nobody was really recording videos at all. I don't even think you could record videos. And there was maybe Facebook, and maybe half of the people were on Facebook. And if someone posted, it was like maybe one picture of you just standing by your friend smiling. Not everybody was a fucking content creator. It was just one picture post. And a lot of times people, would go to a concert, and that wouldn't be really something you would post on early social media, because it was maybe like wild or something. People posted, pictures like, oh, I'm at Thanksgiving with my family, or like I went to Disneyland or Universal Studios, and you take a picture in front of, the globe, and you're just, one picture, there's just like one simple picture. But like when people went out and partied and stuff, nobody really documented that and threw it around on social platforms. Now it's like, oh, I'm at the bar, I'm drinking a fucking vodka tonic, and, look, everything is, but I'm so glad that I had those early adult years without social platforms, because I had so much fucking fun when I was, pardon my French, when I was dating Desiree. I mean, she was just so attractive, and I was playing concerts all the time. She's a really pretty girlfriend, and we had our own place, and we drank all the time, and we both had cars. It was like every day, was the life, the living the life. And that was before, dude, I don't even know. I can't even remember. Yeah, I mean, we had cell phones, because I remember I had a cell phone when I was 19, and I met Desiree when I was 21. I remember I broke my cell phone when I was 19, and I threw it against the ground for some reason. I forget why, but I smashed my cell phone. And I didn't have a cell phone for 3 or 4 months, and you didn't really need one for some reason back then. You didn't have to have a cell phone. It was just like an extra thing. But I remember we had cell phones. It was just different, meaning I had a cell phone and Desiree had a cell phone, and we were living together and fully in a relationship, but I wouldn't, call her or text her or anybody on my cell phone. I wouldn't. There was just no real reason to. It wasn't like I was like take a picture of Desiree sitting on the couch and post it. Just people just didn't do things like that 20 years ago. They just didn't. Um, it's just weird to think that all those, okay, the 2 years I dated Desiree for almost, like 4 years, but we only like technically lived together for, I don't know, 2.5 years, 3 years or something. I don't know. Because we were in Montana living together for a year, and then we came down here and we were living together for a year. So anyways, it's just weird to think that the whole time that I was dating Desiree, I can't really remember, ever really calling her on my cell phone or texting her. I don't really. I mean, we lived together. I don't know if it's because I just saw her every day that I didn't have to text or call her, but I guess we did text some a little bit. I mean, we had to have. I just don't remember it because it wasn't that much part of the everyday activity. Cell phone. Cell phone. That's weird to think about. I would have married her. I should have married Desiree. It kind of didn't really get better than that after her. I mean, she was very attractive. She's Native American. She like perfectly fit body, and she was non-slutty, and she was faithful, and she was cool. She was cool to hang out with. But I would never date her now though. I mean, she's had like 3 or 4 kids. I mean, I would talk to her. I'm not, I would never be resentful towards her for any reason. But I wouldn't, I would just probably wouldn't date her. Not unless we get older and her kids like go or something, go leave the house or something. But so I have what if I just started crying right now? No, I'm just kidding. I just started fucking sobbing. No, speaking of girls, so this song I'm recording tonight, the last and final song that I'm recording for Dark Country, um, simple, 2 chord song, love it. Part of the chord progression goes to 3 chords. Um, this I technically wrote this song about a girl in Portland. So this song it's not really a love song, and it's not really a breakup song. It's just the aftermath of a relationship when it's just over, but you're thinking about them, but not in a way of like you want to get back with them. Just kind of that. It's funny, one of the lyrics, that feeling inside. Yeah. So yeah, that feeling inside you have, where especially when you're living in the same area as the person you dated or were seeing, or however you want to say it. I don't even know if it's like people don't say boyfriend and girlfriend anymore. It's like partner. My person partner. No, okay, whatever. Your girlfriend or boyfriend, when you're living in the same area, and then when you break up, which happened to me 2 times in Portland. And Portland seems like it's like a small city, especially on the west side. There's only so many streets going in so many directions, so you're gonna run into them eventually or see them. But this song's about when you break up with your partner and it's over. You're not even communicating with them anymore. how when you walk around and you see like places you used to frequent, like, oh, we went there. And part of the lyrics of the song is when you walk by an establishment like a bar or something, and remember, just like 3 months ago or whatever, you were sitting, right there with her. You're just like, and you look through the window and you remember, oh my God, we were hanging out just like a couple months ago or whatever. Everything was cool, and just that feeling, uh, that you get or whatever, or that I got, looking into this, and it could even looking into other places that we didn't even go to. Just it's just not like I was like upset or sad or angry or anything. Just going, oh, that is a place probably we would have been at together right now, if we were together, and just that feeling inside, basically. So it's not really a breakup song. It's like the aftermath of a breakup. It's not really a love song because you're not in love anymore, because you're obviously not with the person. So that's basically what No Other Way is about. Um, it's kind of, yeah, some of the lyrics are a little depressing, but it goes with the theme of dark country. It goes with the theme. It's not called like, it's dark country. So it's kind of a dark album. The vibe, the frequency is it's chill, it's dark, um, and I'm excited about. So this album is going to be released on. It's going to be released this year on June 6th, and usually I don't have my music up for pre-order. I'm just like, why? Just wait till it fucking comes out and listen to it. But this album, I am gonna have pre-order available for it, probably next month, early, sometime in February. I'll have this album up for pre-order. Um, so, and then if you want, I mean, there's some songs that are going to be on the album that are already out. So if you want to listen, like Orange Night is on Amazon Music for purchase, or you can stream it for free on Spotify. Um, Orange Night, and then some other songs like The Cave. I was talking about The Cave, how much I like that song and stuff. That's going to be on the album, so you could kind of get the vibe of the album, for what's to come on this year. I'm in North Arizona. It's 10:41, and yeah, there's no way I'm even gonna be doing vocals tonight or anything. People glamorize the whole like, oh, staying up all night recording music and stuff. It's like, yeah, maybe when you're 20 years old, but I mean, I do my best work, during the day, not really in the morning, but from the afternoon, like around 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. I feel like I'm the most there for recording. But what I am going to do, like, I wrote down all the lyrics, I wrote down the chord progression, and I'm going to create the file for the song tonight, and I am going to program the drum beat for it. And when I originally wrote this song, it was very, very slow tempo. And I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool if I made it, like this kind of 80s new wave, like more of an upbeat. And I was like, no, because the essence of the song is, the vibe I just talked about. So I don't want to completely change it. But what I'm going to do is it's going to be kind of like a middle, kind of how The Cure's melancholy music. It's kind of The Cure has, kind of dark, chill vibes, but they're not like super slow songs. So a lot of bands, The Cure, Depeche Mode, and stuff, they would. So so the tempo is going to be, a little faster than I originally had it when I wrote the song, but it's still going to be, a slower paced song for sure. So I'm gonna get going on that tonight. And I think once I'm completely finished recording this album, I'm gonna definitely take a fucking vacation. And I'm gonna go somewhere and chill out. I've been, you know, not only doing so much music, but I've been working so fucking much the last year that I'm completely just burnt out. And if I can, if I'm financially able to, I'm gonna try to take a month or two off and go somewhere where it's fucking warm, even though we're in the middle of winter in North Arizona. Go somewhere warm, and I'm just gonna literally decompress, unplug, and just literally try to do nothing if possible. But I mean, I do live in the country, so it's nice not to live in. I tell people this, oh, why do you want to live in the middle of nowhere? There's nothing to do. There's no people. It's like, exactly. There's no fucking people, and there's nothing to do and nowhere to go. It's exactly why I'm here. Oh wow. Sorry. I I didn't see that comment. I had the phone turned around. Opie the Animal, the Gutter Punk King. That's a cool name, dude. My bro, I sing punk rock. I have 350,000 subscribers. That is a lot. Dude, Gutter Punk King. That's a shitload of subscribers when you're playing punk rock. some of these old punk rockers, man, they do well, man. They're buying $1 million homes. Who was it? I was watching $1 Million Listings. What fucking band was it? It was some just street punk, just a band that never even got that big, but got kind of big over time. See, with punk rock, it takes 10 years or 5 years for the music to catch on. It's like you really have to pay your dues in that. It's not like you just get big overnight. And in other genres, if you come out with a song like metal or grunge or pop music or something, like you could just overnight, oh wow, so big. But even if you're a really, really good punk rock band, nobody will just like give you credit and respect just because your music is good. Like you have to fucking play for fucking years, and then over time it's like kind of slowly gets absorbed to be actual legitimate bona fide stamped real punk rock music. But yeah, I forget what band it was. It was one of the LA street punk bands in the late 80s. But anyways, this guy, he's a drummer, and he was like a studio musician, meaning people hire him to play drums on different stuff. But he was buying like this $5 million home in Hollywood, and he's just like this street punk dude, man. Like it's a total gutter punk from the late 80s. So that's what I need, man. I need to start putting out some more music. All right, so I've been talking for 50 minutes right now. It's been 50 minutes. And it feels like I've been talking for like 3 fucking hours. And I feel bad I missed the comment. 350, I almost said a million. 350 million subscribers. But yeah, thanks for the comment. And thanks to everybody who's subscribing. Some of you might be watching this video in the future. Welcome to the future. So, all right. Have a good night.